Hey guys, I'm Eric with Extreme Terrain, and as you just saw and heard, we're checking out the Flowmaster American Thunder dual exhaust system with polished tips and a side exit for all 2020 and later Jeep Gladiators. And after taking it for our road test there, I would rate this exhaust about a 4 out of 5 on our loudness meter. Out of all the exhausts we've checked out for the Gladiator, this is one of the noisier ones, but I don't mean to sound negative about that, because really when you talk about Flowmaster and exhaust notes, those really go hand in hand with high quality, and that really comes from the Super 44 muffler that's included with this kit. Not only are you getting a more aggressive exhaust note, but you're also getting a more rich exhaust note, a better quality exhaust note overall. Now this kit from Flowmaster is really ideal for the Gladiator owner out there who not only wants that rich exhaust note, but they also want a more dressed up appearance to go along with it. Now speaking of dressed up appearance, what really brings that to the table are these polished stainless steel tips. Now the overall kit is made from high quality stainless steel, and out here at the polished tip they use top of the line 304 grade stainless, and that's going to give it long life against weathering and corrosion and keep up that appearance, which is so important for years to come. Now so while this kit might be for someone who is looking for appearance over function, you do get a lot of function with this kit. And as I said before, not only are you getting that rich exhaust note that Flowmaster is known for, but you're getting a much freer flowing exhaust that's going to help you create a little bit more power and better throttle response from your engine. And that mainly comes from the fact that your factory exhaust has 3 sound deadening devices built into the exhaust system, whereas this Flowmaster kit only has 1. So it's going to be less restrictive, and it's going to allow the engine to get its exhaust gases out a lot more freely. Overall, this kit is currently priced around $700. That's pretty middle of the road considering what you're getting here in terms of the upgrade in appearance and function. There are exhausts out there that are a lot more expensive, but to me, loudness isn't everything. You want to hear a certain richness and kind of a burble, if I was really going to describe it, that you want to hear in the exhaust. Kind of gives it a higher quality to that exhaust note. As far as the installation goes, guys, I'm giving this a very solid 2 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter, and the main reason is that you're going to have to take a couple of extra steps if you want to get your factory exhaust out in one piece, because it is one piece from all the way up near the transfer case all the way to the back. It's one solid piece. And if you want to preserve that factory exhaust, you are going to have to get your Jeep lifted significantly. You probably could achieve that with a floor jack and jack stands at home, but you're also going to have to drop your spare tire and remove the heat shield that protects your tire from the exhaust in order to wiggle your factory exhaust out. And we're going to show you how to do that, because this isn't a permanent installation on our Gladiator, so we needed to preserve our exhaust. The other thing that makes this installation a little bit more difficult is the fact that we're going from a single pipe to a split Y pipe for that dual exhaust feature that this kit has. And so you're going to have a little bit of additional piping and a bracket we're going to have to mount on the frame rail, but overall nothing too challenging. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Budget about 2 hours of your time to get the job done from start to finish. So let's go ahead, take a look at the tools, and get started with the installation. All right guys, tools we're going to use for this install. I recommend wearing a pair of gloves and eye protection. Working with exhausts sometimes have sharp edges, plus we're going to be using some penetrating oil spraying around, so eye protection is a good thing. Electric impact wrench, an extension, a hand socket wrench, a swivel socket, 10, 13, 15, and 18 millimeter sockets, and some penetrating oil. Okay guys, first step obviously is we're going to have to remove our factory exhaust. Now we have our Gladiator up on a lift to give you guys some better angles to show you exactly what we're doing underneath the Jeep. And the way we're going to do this is going to preserve our factory exhaust. If you don't care about your factory exhaust, it might be easier just to cut it off. but we're going to show you how to get this off while preserving the piping. So let's go ahead and get started. All right guys, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the skid plate here, and that's so we can drop the front end of the exhaust down. It'll make it a little bit easier to kind of work its way out. The factory exhaust is basically one piece from the Y pipe all the way back to the tailpipe. So what we're first going to do is we have a 13 mil bolt or a nut right here we're going to remove, and then we have 4 18 millimeter bolts here and then 2 up front here that we're going to remove, and that'll let us get the skid plate down. All right, like I said guys, that one we just did was a 13 millimeter, and the next 4 are all going to be 18 millimeter sockets you're going to need. All right guys, now before I do the front 2, make sure you're supporting it with your hand, because once you loosen these, the skid plate's going to want to drop on you. All right guys, now this is from this point back is what we're going to be removing. So this clamp here we're going to loosen. You're going to need a 13 mil socket for this ball clamp. Now, unlike a regular flat clamp, these ball clamps have a kind of a curved edge that kind of cup around the end of the flange here, so you have to loosen it quite a bit in order to slide this out eventually. So we have that pretty good and loose, so we're going to move to the next step. All right guys, now we're going to pull back on this lock tab. This is just kind of to prevent the clamp from sliding at all. So just get a screwdriver in there. All right guys, now we're right near the tailpipe, and this is the rearmost hanger. We're going to remove this bracket because it is the one bracket that is pointing in an opposite direction from the other hangers further forward on the exhaust. I'm going to use a 13 mil socket on these 2 bolts as well. Now that I got it loosened, I'm just using a deep well socket with my hand to get the bolt out. All right guys, now just to get it out of our way, we're gonna pull this hanger off. You're gonna have to pull it out a little bit and rotate it down. There's this little tab right here that hooks into the frame rail, so you need to get it away from there. You should be able to just pull this out like that. All right guys, now go ahead and assemble a tool that comes with your Jeep. We're going to lower our spare tire, get that out of the way, and then also remove the spare tire guard to finish getting out our exhaust pipe. Now this tool basically goes into a plastic sleeve that's behind the bumper here. Once you get that in, you can't twist it by hand, then you know you're on the, it's kind of like a bolt back in there that the end of this tool goes on, and we're going to use this just like a socket wrench. And then the lug wrench here has a square opening in it. Put that in the end here. All right, with a bunch of slack let out, guys, you don't want to drop it all the way to the ground. You want to be able to get a hand underneath your tire. Lift your tire up. And there's a black bracket the tire rests on. Slide it up the cable and get it through the lug hole. All right guys, now to remove the heat shield that protects our spare tire, you're gonna have 5 bolts. They're all 10 millimeter. There's 3 up here that are gonna be very hard, if not impossible for you guys to see on camera here, but we're gonna take those 3 out first. All right, and then we have the last 2 right here, again, 10 millimeter. All right guys, now at this step, we only have 2 hangers that are holding our exhaust pipe up, and they are both pointing towards the front, which means with the help of my friend back here, we're gonna slide the entire pipe backwards out of these 2 hangers and then drop it down and actually pull it forward to clear the rear axle. All right guys, now we have our factory exhaust off the Gladiator. I want to put it here on the floor and do a quick side-by-side comparison. Now obviously what stands out I think really about this American Thunder kit from Flowmaster is the polished tips. It's really going to dress up the rear end of your Gladiator if this is the kind of look you're going for. Other than that, really what stands out too I think is the fact that it's a dual exhaust, so it's going to be a little bit more involved of an installation as opposed to the uninstall and removal of the factory kit here. Now, as far as sound quality goes and a more aggressive exhaust note, now clearly that's going to come from the fact that you have this Flowmaster muffler on here, and just one of them compared to 3 sound deadening devices that are attached to the exhaust system on your factory Jeep Gladiator setup. So that said, let's go ahead, we'll get started. We're going to work from front to back and we'll get this thing mounted up on our Gladiator. All right guys, so like I said before, we're going to start it towards the front and work our way towards the back. So go ahead and grab the real long pipe out of your kit. We're going to reuse the factory, it's called a ball clamp, and that's mainly because it's kind of rounded and it's going to basically snug up the fitting from the front end of this pipe to the factory pipe coming out from the engine. So let's go ahead and get this on, and we're going to slide it in the hanger here first and bring it forward until we have overlap. Basically the factory pipe will fit into the widened mouth of the front end of our Flowmaster pipe. All right guys, so we now have the clamp oriented here so the bolt head is kind of facing down, make it easier to get a tool on there. And you need a 13 mil socket to tighten this up. All right, we want it snugged up so that the pipe can't slide forward to back, but we don't want it so tight that we can't twist the pipe. We want to be able to adjust it as we work our way towards the back. All right guys, now we're going to fit up our Flowmaster muffler next, and make sure you have it oriented properly. The word inlet is stamped on the side that has the opening here that's kind of centered on the muffler. That means it's going to face your engine, and then this end here that's kind of offset from the center is going to be pointing out towards the back of your Jeep. And you also want this oriented towards the drive shaft. So you'll see how we set it up here in just a second. Make sure you get your clamp started on there first. All right guys, now go ahead and grab the Y pipe. And we're going to snug it into the back. Make sure you have a clamp started on the outlet side of your muffler and have your hanger pointed towards the front. Get that lined up. And we're going to bring the muffler up to meet it. All right guys, now we're going to remove these two bolts right here using a 13 mil socket, and eventually we're going to mount this bracket here that's going to give us a new hanger point sandwiched between this bracket and the frame rail, reusing the factory bolts. But we're going to get to this bracket in a second. So for right now, we're just going to prep this for the rest of the install by removing these bolts. All right, so this is the section of pipe we're going to fit up next. Now using this bracket, you're going to want to get it started on the hanger. And it's pretty snug. It shouldn't fall off after you get it on there. And now we're going to fit up towards the rest of the pipe. All right guys, now I already have a clamp started on here. So go ahead and fit this pipe on. As you're sliding it on, keep an eye up here to this bracket, and eventually we're going to slide it up against the frame rail. Just make sure we have this on far enough. All right guys, now this clamp here, that's the new hanger for our exhaust. Sandwich that underneath the bracket here that's holding the wiring harness for your Jeep. All right guys, now we have the driver's side exit pipe here. Go ahead and get a clamp started up here. All right, and we're going to leave that loose for now. We have to reinstall the factory hanger back here. All right guys, now go ahead and grab your factory hanger clamp here that goes on the frame rail. Slide it onto the hanger first. Once you got those started, we can go ahead and tighten those down. These are 13 millimeters. All right guys, now that we have everything on but the tips, we're gonna go ahead and go back to the front here. We're back up here where the Flowmaster kit meets the factory pipe, and we're gonna start tightening all the brackets down from front to back. And again, this one here is a 13 millimeter. All right, now the clamp here on our muffler is a 15 millimeter. All right guys, now we'll tighten these up. If you remember, these are 13 millimeter. All right, all we have left guys is we're gonna mount our exhaust tips on. And you have a bolt up here. You're gonna need a 10 millimeter tool on both sides. All right, now go ahead and replace your spare tire heat shield. All right guys, now you're probably not gonna be able to see this on camera because of the tight space, but go ahead and grab the other bolt here, get this lined up. And the two nuts on the studs up here. Now with the pipe in our way, guys, you might need an extension on your 10mm socket to tighten this one up, as well as a swivel socket. All right guys, now we're going to replace our factory skid plate. And once you have them all started, go ahead and tighten them up using a 18mm socket. And lastly, we have a 13mm nut right here. All right guys, now we have the tire back underneath, our spare tire that is, and we have the clamp for our hoist all set up. We can go ahead and crank it back up into place. All right guys, that wraps up this review and install of this Flowmaster American Thunder dual exhaust system with polished tips and a side exit for all 2020 and later Jeep Gladiators. And of course, for all things Gladiator, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.